Okay, welcome to another video in the series of how to put joints together. We are going to do a corner dovetail joint. This is a through dovetail joint this time. It's going to look like this. The section size that we're using here today is 12mm by 70mm, and we are going to use a technique where we are going to make the pins first and then cut the tails from them. Some people do it the other way around. If you are doing dovetails that are not through dovetails, it's often better to do the tails first, then the pins. Okay, the tools that we're going to use today is a nice sharp pencil with a concave side to it, a small steel rule, a newly sharpened bevel edge 6mm or 1/4 inch chisel, a dovetail template with a slope on one side of approximately 1:7 and square on the other side, 2 shoulders to rest your wood against. For the lack of a dovetail saw, I'm going to use a tenon saw today, a coping saw and a square. Our stock's already been prepared square edge, so first off, to mark out. We're going to mark back the thickness of the wood on the grain, both there and there, taking our square and taking our time to square round, making sure that the lines meet up as accurately as you can make them. So that they meet as you go around the corner. Okay, so nice square lines around. The first thing we're going to do is mark out the pins. On the rear edge of the piece, as you have it in the vise, I'm going to mark 4mm, then 18mm, cumulative 22, another 4mm, that's cumulative 26, and I'm going to turn the rule around and I'm going to do the same from the other end. 4 plus 18, 22, plus 4, 26, and I should have 18mm left in the middle, which I have. Taking the dovetail template now, this is the thin end of the tail, the pin, sorry, so I'm going to mark away every other mark the same angle on the end grain, and then turn the template around and mark every other mark the other way, which will give us the end grain marks of the pins that we're keeping, and I will shade the sections we are getting rid of. I'm then going to mark down the outside of the timber on both sides for clarity with the square edge of the template. It's a bit wide, is that one? And this side as well. Okay, you might be best this side now, Karen. I'll shade the bits that I'm getting rid of and I will take my saw at them. Firstly, I'm going to stand to the angle that I will cut this way. and I'll cut all the way down to my line. And then I will stand to the other angle and cut all the way down. My line. Taking the coping saw onto the waist and cutting above the line, getting the saw moving and turning it, taking the waist out nearly but not quite to the line. Out of the vise now. You can see we've got a little bit left on the waist. On a piece of board, I'm going to have to stand here, you might flip it down to the other side. We're going to take the chisel in the left hand in a fist, put it on the second finger of the right hand, first finger on top, thumb behind, hand on the workpiece, chisel into shoulder. That is a pairing stance for doing dovetails, and we're going to wiggle the chisel gently till we've cut halfway through the workpiece to our line. Try not to do what I did there, which is go all the way through. Okay, a little bit of extra fat on that one, but hopefully it won't make too much of a difference. Turning it over, completing the operation from the other side. One I went through on. A set of pins. Rough at the moment, but good enough to start with. Taking your second component, we're going to draw the tails from the pins that exist. Doing this now, we've already got our line marked on there. We're going to line the backs of the pins, the fat end of the pins, so we've got a thin end and a fat end. The fat end of the pins to the inside of the joint. Before we mark them, indicate on the top surface, in this case joint number A. If you're doing 4 round a box, either letter or number them so you know which one goes where. Taking a good sharp concave pencil, we now mark the inside of the tails from the pins. And there we have a set of tails marked out. Back into the vise. Find our little dovetail template again, and this time we're going to square across the top. Bad mark. I'll only mark this side on these tails, just for speed. Normally I'd mark both sides. And shade the bits. This time we're going to get rid of the small bits. moving the wood this time so we have got a vertical line one way. We can pick the saw up, cutting down the grain. All the ones that are pointing the same direction cut first. Moving the timber in the vise to the other orientation, same again the other way. Overcut that one. While the saw's in your hand, you can saw the shoulder off. There. And there. Taking the carping saw. Back to the board. Same grasp again. Taking your pieces and finding your two letters now. A to A. Ta-da!